Hey, sweetie.
Hi.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Quiet.
You and me.
Quiet, please.
You're so brave. You're my hero. I won't let you fall. I'm strong.
Okay, a little left.
I'll never let you fall.
All right, ready, and grab.
Oh,
Better grab you. Ready, and grab. Drop. That was it.
All right, cut.
I didn't move myself on it. All right. You little sneaky, tricky. I did them.
No, we're on the technical. We're on speed.
Feeling, Mark. All right, Mark, it's on you. I'm set. Kath, I got her. Good. Huh?
You okay, sweetie? Yeah? Nice work.
Oh, okay. So this is how we're going to get you up to the roof next week, okay? Lean back for me.
They took me on a little plank of wood, and I walked on it, and they like held me up on my harness and made me a harness, and they told me how it would feel being up there. But it felt different when you were actually up there, because you got to see everything.
So if you're to fall, there you go. You didn't fall, did you? Okay, so step back onto it. Okay. Okay with that? Try fall again. There you go. So that's what it's going to be like up there, okay? Nothing happens.
We showed Chloe everything with a stunt double prior to doing anything with Chloe. I mean, we always had a stunt double standing by. The stunt double would do everything first. Stunt double was Laura Dash, and she would do everything before Chloe would do it. And she'd show her how to do it and what we were doing and make her feel comfortable. And she was like her teammate. I was more like a coach. In fact, Chloe would call me Coach Kenny. But with Chloe, I had to develop a trust. So what I did was, after we played the game and we had fun on a daily basis, I would grab her in between shots and I would take her over. There were times when I would stand her on a small step and I'd have her close her eyes and drop backwards into my arms. One, drop.
It is.
There. Got it. After talking to her one day, I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to run up in the Condor. We're going to take a ride up there. So I put her in the Condor, and I said, this is going to bounce around a lot. And I showed her how it bounced around. I took her for a ride up to the top, and I just let her look at it. And the reason was I wanted her to see that working environment before she actually went up there to do it.
In the cherry picker, we were so high up, we were next to the oak tree, and we picked acorns, and we made an acorn club with me and Melissa, and whoever we gave an acorn to, they were part of the acorn club.
The next time I took her up, we were going to hook her up. We put her in a harness, and we took her up to the roof. We were going to hook her up.
I was there that day right when we brought her up. Kenny Bates is in the basket, and we're waiting, and Kenny goes like this. He was looking right at me, and he came back down, and he goes, her lip was trembling, and then all of a sudden she started to do it, and she got more fun with it.
Hey, Richard?
Yeah.
Let's lock it.
Now the tension.
A little tension. That's good.
The overhead suspension rig for Chloe was a Traveler on an endless, which means that there's an overhead cable trolley that has a line that drops down. There's a belly chute. The Traveler moves back and forth, and in between the Traveler, there's a little belly in it, and there's a pulley on there. So as you let that line out, that drops down or lifts up. And that line is controlled by ground systems, by two guys on either end, and that'll lift her up and down. And the forward and back was controlled manually by two operators, which would bring her forward or back, and they all had an eye line on Chloe. That was the system that came down into a flying harness that was picked up both hips. For Chloe, the idea was to feel the tension, but to give her a little resistance. Give her a few pounds of resistance so she knows it's there, but without her realizing it, she was actually walking with her own balance on the beam. I mean, if she wasn't, then it wouldn't be natural. Her movements wouldn't be natural. She never had any idea that she was walking on a balance beam. As far as she was concerned, she was in a flying harness, and she was just walking and being suspended.
It was different because I had to walk on the roof, and it was really creepy. The first time it was creepy, but the second time it took me a few minutes to get used to it. But then I was like really cool because Kenny told me all about it.
The idea was never to put Chloe in a position where she wasn't comfortable with any of the elements. And if she wanted down, she was able to come down, and she knew she was in control, which eventually paid off because she did 90% of the work.
Hi, Mommy! Hi, Mommy! Look at me, Mommy! Look at me, Mommy!
I've never been able to ask people to do things for me that I can't do myself, even though I have a pathological fear of heights. And, you know, on this dreadful day, I knew that I was going to have to get up in, you know, in a condor.
Bates is my stunt coordinator I've worked with for many years, and I've done a lot of stunts in my life, and I actually personally climbed up on that roof, and I'm scaling it. I mean, it is that steep, okay?
There was actually a plan B, and that was we're not going to have this shot in the movie. And plan A worked perfectly because of Kenny.
To Kenny's credit, he stayed with her until he could see that that was working. And that's a very refined skill, I think, because it wasn't just a technical exercise. He has the experience and the equipment to achieve that technically. What he had, in addition to that, was a kind of a sensitivity to fear and danger.
The first thing I started doing with Chloe was I met her mother, met her brothers. We talked for a little while. I didn't rush her in anything. Found out what she liked, what she didn't like, and so I could strike a conversation with her.
That's good. Just walking like that, even slower. Walking slower. That's where she really is.
Then I found out what Chloe was capable of. We put her on that little beam on the ground level and started playing a game and walking back and forth, and then we started spinning, and we made a game out of it.
And when we went on this wet ride, once it got all wet, we all got all wet. It felt like she was my mom, really, because she was always really nice to me on set, too.
Because I was asking her to do it. And, but there's no way I could have done what she did.
Great job.
Was it fun? Was it fun?
Great.
Was it fun? So after lunch we'll put
It's not.
That little shit got me fired.
Initially, they had made...
Was it cold?
There was a freezing kiss. Come on, let's go over to the...
The reason was I didn't want to get close to them. I didn't want to fall in love with them. It just made my job.
I think she misses her daddy.
Give me back my daughter.
Hi, Mommy!
Hi, Mommy!
Hi, Mommy!
Hi, Mommy!
Look at me, Mommy!
Look at me, Mommy!
Me, I tended to ask him about them because I didn't feel strong enough necessarily to always challenge lines, you know, challenge the writing. I didn't feel the confidence of it. If he agreed with them, it gave me confidence to kind of challenge or change lines.
Say it verbally. Ready? Hold on. Oh, back in your marker. Okay. And act. Right.
I think she misses her daddy.
My daughter.
You know where this goes? Up there? Oh, God, that was a great shot at the end of him. You should see the end of that. Look at
Me, look at me! Look at me!
Look at me. And then tell the camera off straight away.
I didn't do yours. You watch the show?
Oh! Are we shooting? Oh!
I'm king of the king!
Let me try with you.
Boy, this ain't the 70s, I don't know what it is.
When you back up.